Hey everyone, we have Deb back on the show. Hey Debbie.
Hey.
Oh man, just to recap for those of you who are listening to this show for the first time, Debbie came on the show a couple weeks ago and she shared her story. She shared how she entered pregnancy with a diagnosis of diabetes and thyroid cancer. She shared with us the challenges that she went through during pregnancy and childbirth. And we honestly got to the end of the show and we realized that we didn't even cover her postpartum journey, trying to be postpartum, being a diabetic, and also now having to deal with the thyroid cancer and whatever came with that. And so, thank you so much for coming back on the show. You can
Of
kind of add if I've
course.
missed anything on the recap.
No, that's a perfect recap. Thank you.
Yeah. So I want to go back a little bit. I think what where we ended was you gave birth to your baby,
Mhm.
and initially the postpartum journey was very supported. It sounds like you had family members and friends who surrounded you with all the love and who were there to help you along the way. And so talk about a little bit what was next, what were the challenges that you faced as you entered those several weeks in the postpartum period?
Of course. I would say the first 6 weeks, of course, you're getting adjusted. It's just you don't know the difference between night and day, right? Because you're constantly feeding this tiny human. You're trying to figure out, okay, I'm a mother now. I've survived. So
Mhm.
the first 6 weeks is barely just survival at this point. Like I had no expectations of myself to be even breastfeeding because I've known from my experience from WIC that sometimes it takes a while for your milk to come in, even longer if
Mhm.
you've had a traumatic birth. So
Mhm.
that was my first hurdle. Just, okay, can I breastfeed?
Mhm.
So at about 4 to 6 weeks postpartum, that's when my milk actually came in.
I know about that story. That was my story, which is crazy because you're
Yeah.
thinking that you should be breastfeeding right away, but that's the case.
Yes, yes. And there's so many women that are just like, no, I want to breastfeed.
Mhm.
And their babies are just having failure to thrive and they're
Yeah.
not doing well. And you're crying, you're wondering what am I doing wrong? I want to breastfeed. Girl, I had no milk. I had like
Mhm.
droplets, like my milk, even when it did come in at 6 weeks postpartum, it was like 1 ounce at a time. Like
Mhm.
I was so happy to get an ounce. Like I was just like, babe, look, I got
Yeah.
some. So for me, I was a very low producer. I just didn't have it. And I'm just like, Lord, why do I have these all these goodies and no
And
milk?
nothing, right? Nothing. Good for nothing.
Good for nothing. I felt so
Oh,
useless. I felt like, what am I gonna do? But thankfully, I had really good nurses at the hospital, and my pediatrician was very supportive of my choices of just making sure my baby is fed. I'm like, give me that formula, honey, because
good.
we trying to eat. I'm not trying to stress myself even more and get more frustrated and angry at my body. Like I
Good.
had to accept the fact that I had been through a lot. An emergency C-section
Mm.
after 2 days of being induced. I mean, hey, my body was tired and I just needed to feed this baby. So that was my first
Mhm.
hurdle.
Good
Hmm.
for you. I think for a lot of women who struggle with breastfeeding, that is really their gateway into depression and anxiety.
Yes.
And so it sounds like you were able to manage that process really well. What tips would you give for moms trying to overcome that perceived failure that their breasts are not working and their body's not doing what it's supposed to do?
To me, I feel the best advice is in my mindset, I was thinking she is not just mine.
Mm.
I did not assume that ownership of that child to say, I have to feed my baby, it's my baby. Because to me, it was such a possessiveness. I wanted to get this milk, give it to her.
Mm.
And when I realized my husband's here, he wants to feed her. My sisters are here. They want to help me. And I said that before in the last video, allow people to show up for you. You
Mm.
you are not a one-man team, you're not a one-woman team. You're not in this world by yourself. And God placed people in your life for a reason. So this baby is not just yours. That'll be my best advice. You have to think about your family. You have to think about what's best for this tiny human as a person, not just your child, because I knew Charlie was going to grow and do things and learn how to talk and do a lot and learn different letters and grow up and be a great person. So to me, it was really sitting there and reflecting and saying, I'm not a failure. She's not just mine, and she deserves the best. And the best at the time is to not be hungry.
Such
Yeah.
great advice. Such great advice. She is not mine alone. And I
Yeah.
think that just brought chills to my body because I feel like that's something we often miss. And that's a lot of times the challenges that moms face even within the relationship, right? It's like, hey, I carried this baby for 9 months and this
Mm,
baby is completely reliant on me. She's mine. And it really isolates partners, it isolates the people around us. And so turning it around and saying, hey, my breasts are not working, but how can I turn this for good? How can I get everybody involved? I
mm.
think that shows so much strength in letting go and saying, this is an opportunity for everybody to be able to feed my child, and my child is growing and is going to develop to be the best person that he can be. And so amazing.
Exactly, exactly. And I wanted to share a photo, but I don't know if I have that
Oh,
capability.
yes,
But
you can if you have it on
yeah,
your computer.
yeah, I have a photo of my husband and my
Wow.
sister on our road trip. We were on our way to the endocrine hospital in Tampa. If you fast forward, we accomplished the hurdle of breastfeeding. Now at 10 weeks postpartum, I have to have this surgery on my thyroid. So this is a picture of my husband and my sister. And you can see my husband holding the baby
Oh,
and doing the things that he needs to do. And I'm just so proud of that because I know that I think you have to allow me to share the
oh,
screen, but
okay.
but
See?
it just it's a testament to the village, right? Because you're thinking about not just yourself, you're thinking about people that really step up when you need them to help you out. And I just love my family for that because they've just always just been the best. When I say I'm blessed, I'm blessed. My heart goes out to a lot of women who don't have the support, or if they feel like they're not able to do it, then it is harder when you're just on your own. And I get that not everyone has the ability to really have all of that support that they need like that. But I did want to share this photo to kind of see what that looks like. So as you can see, Chris is holding the baby. He's probably going to be so mad if he sees this video, but he's holding her
I just,
and
uh,
she's just so tiny and she's just happy to eat. And my sister's over there on the phone, probably doing a million things. Because she like went out of her way to help me get to Tampa from here to get my surgery. So that's my sister Jardine on the left and my husband there with
I love
his
it.
Georgia Bulldogs shirt on. But
Wow, I love that so much. Family absolutely needed. And the fact, you think about it, having to now go through this process of going through surgery, it's almost a blessing having the ability to let go and let other people feed baby, because imagine undergoing the anesthesia and everything that you have to do. So, yeah, so just powerful, honestly, just powerful.
Yep, yep, very much needed. And I would add on to that too. Dads are not perfect. They're gonna do things their own way. It's not gonna be the way that you
Mhm.
do it. But Chris was able to take care of her the whole day. That's great to just depend on him. And that I think that really strengthened our marriage because here we are, newlyweds. We had only been married for about a year and a half at that point when we had Charlie. So still trying to figure each other out very much
Mm.
so. But he's like, I got this. And he did good. Like bottles were washed, everything was spotless when I came back from surgery. So let that man take care of his baby, please.
Love the
Please.
advice. Love it. Love, love, love it. So let's transition a little bit to the surgery. So at what point you mentioned Tampa, and driving down to Tampa. So talk a little bit about at what point did you now start preparing for the surgery and walk us through that process.
I mean, the preparations for surgery were really started when I was pregnant, but because I was pregnant, it's like, well, you can't have surgery yet because you're
Mhm.
pregnant. So I feel like I was a ticking time bomb. Like I feel like I was stressing my doctors.
Mhm.
Like they were like, what is going to happen to this girl? Because I was making calls, I was trying to schedule it to see how can I fit it in? Because in my mind, if I'm taking my maternity leave and my FMLA, all that stuff, postpartum, let me throw in a surgery in there. Why not? I'm already laid out on this bed. I'm already incumbent, so I might as well add my surgery. So the main thing for me was having enough time to recover. And
Mm,
so I felt like, yes, I had a C-section in August with my daughter.
mhm,
It's looking a little crazy for me right now to add another surgery, but I found this hospital in Tampa where at the endocrine hospital, that's all they do is
mm,
endocrinology. So they focus specifically on the thyroid and the parathyroid glands, and there's hormones involved and all of that. So with them having that specialty, I feel like I was in the best care
mm,
because most of the surgeons I consulted with in Georgia, they were saying is about 2 to 4 weeks recovery period. The surgery would take anywhere from 3 to 4 hours, open table, and that's an open neck surgery. So I'm like, man, 4 hours for one procedure. In
wow,
Tampa, they were talking about a procedure time of 30 minutes to
mm,
45 minutes. They have some really advanced technology. My doctor at the time, Dr. Suh, he was the only one in the country that had a scarless
mm,
surgery center where he works with robotics.
wow,
So he was very, very knowledgeable and approachable. And we had some conversations a few weeks before coming down to getting me scheduled and letting me know what the procedure is going to be like. And he told me that he's pretty much the only one in the country that can do robotics on the thyroid.
wow.
But due to the fact that I was, again, breastfeeding, I couldn't do robotic surgery because they want to go through your breast tissue to access your neck, which I was not aware of that. So he said, you know what? I'm married, I have kids, and I know what it's like. Save those breasts for the baby. He said, we're not going to do the robotic surgery, but I've been doing thyroid surgery for many, many years. And so I felt like he was the best to do the open neck surgery. And yeah, so that was my preparation going into
Mm,
surgery, just having conversations with the surgeon, getting it scheduled with the hospital and trying to get myself and my little one down there. Yeah. Yeah.
wow, wow. I want to pause to have a moment just to highlight that you took matters into your own hand, right? Many of us are told this is the surgery that you're going to have, this is what you're going to do, and this is the person that you're going to see. And you're referred, and at a postpartum state, I think most of us would be like, heck, I'm tired. Let me go and do the surgery over there.
Right, right.
And you didn't do that. You took the time to advocate for yourself. You took the time to go and find a surgeon that was somebody who was experienced. You took the time to read the
Mhm.
reviews. You took the time to talk to people to make sure that you're getting the absolute best. And I feel like our listeners have to listen to that because sometimes we are tired, right? And we don't want to do
Mhm.
that little work of advocating for ourselves. So we take what's given to us. And so I really applaud you for that step in just making sure that you are getting the absolute, absolute best care. Such a good
Mhm.
lesson.
Yes, yes, definitely. You have to advocate for yourself and do your own research because you're not a cookie cutter person. What works for
Right.
somebody else is not going to necessarily work for you. And you have to be comfortable with your decision at the end of the day. Like,
Mm,
that's my neck, you know what I mean? And it's
right.
so, the thyroid is so close to the vocal cords, and I love to sing. So I'm just like,
Mhm.
oh my gosh, I don't want to have issues with speaking and singing and doing all the things. So, and even post-op, after talking to my surgeon, he's like, you are lucky because this thing with your trachea and your
Mm.
vocal cords was like this,
Oh,
like on top of
mm.
each other. Like he's like, if I don't know what you would have done if you didn't find me. So, and I
Wow.
still have his number somewhere. I gotta see if I could get in touch with him because such a remarkable surgeon. And it's just when you're dealing with all the vascular systems in the head and neck. And you need a specialist. Please, please
Mhm.
don't take it lightly. Do your research and figure out what's best for you.
Wow. Excellent.
Yeah.
So how
Mhm.
was recovery like after the surgery?
Recovery was good. Recovery was good. I do have another picture. I'm a visual person, so I want to
I
help
love
our listeners out there,
it.
but I have a picture of me holding Charlie and she's so peaceful and she started to get nice and chubby around that time because it's like that 2 to 3 months they start to pack on the weight and I was just like, yes, she's doing great. So I have a picture of me holding her and
Share.
I'm very tired in the photo, looking a hot mess, but that's life. I got
Oh,
my
oh,
little bandage on my neck there.
wow.
And there was some swelling involved, but overall, like literally, I couldn't have asked for a better surgery because I
Wow.
was able to maybe like a couple days later, I was able to kind of pick her up and handle her and everything. And I was doing really well. I followed the instructions to kind of just keep ice on my neck and keep
Mm.
it covered. Don't let it get dirty and things like that. I got my cornrows on. I'm like, I don't want a piece of hair on my neck. Let me just move
Wow.
myself and get these braids together because I'm going to be laid out for a while. So yeah, that's me and little Charlie over here
Wow.
sleeping
I
with
love
her
that.
cute self. Yeah,
Oh,
but
I
yeah,
love
postpartum was challenging. Again, my sisters, my cousins, my aunts, everyone was kind of on a rotation,
mm,
helping me coming by, dropping off food. I have so many friends that came to visit the baby and support
mm,
us and check on us, pray with us, and do all the good stuff. So yeah,
mm.
it was a good recovery period. I'd say probably, let's see, I had my surgery in October first week. So I would say closer to my birthday, November 1st. I kind of felt more of a person in November and
Yeah.
I was able to get back to work in mid-November. Yep, yep. So
Okay. How many
mhm.
months postpartum was that?
That was at 4 months postpartum,
Oh,
roughly. I was blessed to have an employer that could vouch for me and give me the
mm,
time. My HR person at my job, he was excellent with calling and saying, hey, if you need more time, fill out this form. And there's a form for that where you can
mm.
get donated leave. And shout out to my coworkers if they donated because
Right.
I
Right.
needed that time
Mm,
badly. And I was able to add an extra 2 to 4 weeks, and that
mm.
was with pay.
Right.
So I was able to have a complete postpartum period from August to November. So
Right.
it
Wow.
was wonderful.
That's amazing. I
Mhm.
want to talk a little bit about after the case. Did you have to take any medications, like thyroid medications, and how is that and the interaction with your diabetic meds? Because now you have these
Mhm.
two things going on, right? And I'm pretty sure
Mhm.
usually when they kind of disrupt the thyroid, usually they want you to be on hormonal treatment. Is that the same thing for your thyroid cancer, or that didn't have any effect on your hormones?
Right. It didn't affect my hormones this time because I had a partial thyroidectomy, so it
Okay.
was just half of it. In the case that I will need to remove the entire thyroid, then we go into the conversation of that complete thyroidectomy, and then you would need the hormone replacing medications, and it would keep track of it that way. And also a Dexcom warrior. So what I'm doing is really, I'm always advocating for people to keep track of their diabetes if they are diabetic, and having that continuous glucose monitoring really helped a lot. So
Talk about that. You said Descom Warrior. I know what that is, but for our
Dexcom.
Descom Warriors, but for our listeners, what does that mean and why is that important for our health?
Yes, yes. I would say continuous glucose monitoring to check your blood sugar is really important because you can see the highs and lows of your blood sugar and how the changes are happening throughout the day, and that helps you to adjust your meds if you need to take a correcting dose of insulin after a meal or things like that. So I love the fact that there is always a better method, right? Because if there's better technology and things out there, let's do that for ourselves and try to get access to it. So I think Dexcom, and there's a couple of other CGMs out there like Freestyle, Libre, different things like that available where you can actually keep track and use a mobile app to see how your blood sugar is doing throughout the day. Because before I was doing that, I did not have good control. I was just eating whatever and then checking my finger at every meal. And I'm like, if it's high, I'm just going to take. It was like guesswork trying to figure out how much insulin to take and all that. So that eliminated a lot of pressure.
Pressure. Yeah. How is now managing your diabetes? Like how are you now? How long did it take your body to sort of adjust to just postpartum and get back to your normal self?
I would say it took a little while, but the most important thing for me was to just pace myself and just kind of follow along with the endocrinologist recommendations. My specialist that I go to, he has several nurse practitioners and also physician assistants that he work with, and they're even better. They're more aggressive with the treatment
Mhm.
plan than he is. They're like, we're going to do this, this, and that, and we're going to refer you to the dietitian, and you're going to get
Wow.
this meal plan. And so it was very aggressive, I'd say, within the first 6 months after surgery to just get me stable, right?
Mhm.
Because, like I said, my body was just on high alert. And when you have a surgery and you're having to do this and that, it's just a natural response for your blood sugar to get elevated, right? Because you're always in a stress mode and your cortisol is elevated because it's like, oh, the baby, and oh, I gotta
Absolutely.
travel and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. So they were just trying to stabilize, bring it back to a normal A1C below 7. So that was the goal. Just get my A1C down and get me eating right. And slowly, I've been gradually lowering my insulin doses.
Right.
Yay!
Love
So,
it.
yeah, so less medication is always the goal. I went from literally 6 different doses a day to
Wow.
3, and now I'm taking a weekly shot, and I'm also taking my metformin, and that's about it. So
Mhm.
I've eliminated a lot. So it's been a trial and error, but going from literally doing 6 different things to 2 things is amazing at
That
this
is
point.
great. That is great, honestly. And I would not be doing you justice or our listeners justice if we didn't kind of pick your brain a little bit about that postpartum nutrition, right? I know
Yeah.
you talked about eating and trying to figure out the right things to eat when you were pregnant but now you're postpartum and things are crazy. You just trying to survive, right? You just trying to
Exactly.
put something in your mouth, you're trying to bathe. And so, like, what advice do you have for our moms to just get really good nutrition?
Woof. Now, I don't know who I'm going to offend when I say stuff because I don't want to make people mad. But okay, culturally,
Uh,
the food in Haitian culture tends to be more rich,
yeah.
more starchy. We cook with a lot of rice and cassava and yuca, and it's very similar to West African food. but it's starchy and it's a ton of calories involved. And y'all, I had to put down the Haitian food for a
Mm,
while. I was devastated because I love my Haitian food
mm,
now, my
mm.
rice and beans and all of that. But that would be my best advice. I know the culture is very much, oh, you need to eat, 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 because you got to make that
Make
breast milk and
milk.
do the things. And girl, I wasn't doing none of that. I
Mm,
was I was trying to slowly wean myself off from the Haitian food, the restaurant
mm,
food, the ice cream, the cookies, the you're postpartum, your body is just producing a lot of milk and you're just
mm.
trying to take care of this baby and you still have a lot of weight still because you
Yeah.
don't immediately lose your baby weight. So I would say the first 6 months was me just weaning myself to just a regular diet and just kind of saying, I love y'all, but no, thank you. I'm okay. And that's okay. You don't have to accept every plate of food that grandma or whoever is going to make for you because
Right.
because you got to take care of yourself now. And if you know you have trigger foods that is going to spike your insulin and cause problems later, then why? Why are you struggling? Like, don't
Yeah.
do it to yourself. Just say no, just figure out a meal plan that is smaller portions. You can
Mm,
still have the food, but it's not gonna be a big pile of food that grandma's giving you. It's gonna
absolutely.
be small portions and it's gonna be your snacks throughout the day to keep you going. That would be my nutritional advice. Just you don't have to be a yes person because that was me. Oh
Mm,
yes, come to my house. Oh yes, please, you could do this. You could do that. It was delegating left and right.
wow.
But I had to say, okay, Deb, it's time to go to the farmer's market, get those fruits and vegetables together, and make yourself a kale wrap and go to work.
I love it. I love it. No, seriously, good advice because we all want to eat and we feel like it's okay. And then next thing you put on weight postpartum. And it's like, wait,
Exactly.
I thought I was supposed to lose weight because I'm breastfeeding. That's
Oh
tragic.
no,
That's
that's exactly. There's all the evidence saying that, oh, breastfeeding will
mm,
support weight loss and all that. That was not the
not in
true
this culture.
case not in my culture. So that
Right.
wasn't the case for me. So I would say that that's not the case for a lot of people of color. So let's just be real and do our portion control like we need to and get plenty of exercise every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh
Yeah.
man. Well, we are approaching the end of our show. And as always, if I haven't left out some advice for our listeners, please give us something for them to take home and just kind of digest as we get ready to close.
Yes, I would say just pace yourself. I know is if you have a new diagnosis and you have a complication, we're older moms now. Studies are showing that women are having babies later, well into their late 30s and 40s. Just pace yourself. You're not superhuman. Just really talk to people. Get to know your doctors very well because they're here for you. I think that there's so many microaggressions and so
Mm,
many different things that happen in a healthcare setting that I know it's very a fearful situation of you having to come and approach your healthcare team, but you can do it. Just put one foot in front of the other and pace yourself and really get to know your treatment plan. Ask a lot of questions and don't get blindsided. If you have another opinion, or if you want to travel for your treatment, or if you want to get a second opinion, if you want to do a holistic route, that's okay too. That's what I did. You're your own advocate and you know your body. So just pace yourself and figure out what's best for you and your family and your budget at that.
I love
Yeah.
that. It's really important for moms to take their health in their own hands. You know yourself best. You know your body best. Nobody else knows it but you. And so don't take what's given to you. Do the
Mhm.
research.
Yeah.
Love your treatment team. I think one of the best things I've gotten from talking to you, Debbie, is the fact that you had such love, respect for your treatment team. You worked together. They worked for you, and then just the family that was around you. And so your story is really inspirational. And I hope it inspires moms to understand that, like, who's around you is important, who is on your healthcare team is important. And then at the end of the day, you have to advocate for yourself. So,
You do, especially as a Black woman, representation matters. It mattered for me to see the faces that look like mine because I know at the end of the day, they're going to take care of me. And that's the beauty of being in Atlanta, right? We have a lot of highly educated folks out here and people of color that have that multidisciplinary approach to things and they're not so by the book all the time. And I think that was really important in my case.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for coming on for part two.
Oh, yay!
Oh man. And listeners, if you're looking for an on-call physician, I'm here for you. Debbie, if you want to spit out your information, I know you left it on the first podcast, but where can our listeners find you?
Sure, sure. You can reach me on my email, Deborah Lockhart Nutrition at gmail.com. And you guys can also, of course, DM me or follow me on my Instagram page. That's Debbie Cakes, DEBBICAKES 87 at IG.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, listeners, for a wonderful podcast episode on fourth trimester voices. Take care.
All right. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye. If you live in the Atlanta, Georgia area, I want you to consider working with EM Care to You. And this is my concierge medical company, and we offer comprehensive care for mothers postpartum. I started the company because I saw a need. I was taking care of so many postpartum moms that had a need, and I wanted to provide a solution for their problem. So at EM Care to You, we provide access to in-home lactation support, pelvic floor physical therapy, mental health support, and more. You can learn more about this at emcaretou.com. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Fourth Trimester Voices. If you have any questions about today's episode or you want to share your story, please email us at fourthtrimestervoices@gmail.com. My name is Dr. Choa, and it's been lovely talking with you all today. Take care.